Hey, welcome to another match. It looks fine. Playing against blue-white control. Alright. Let's get Thassa's Oracle down. Ooh. None of these are great. Don't actually want to draw any of those. I want to draw Leyline of Anticipation even less, but oh well. So the worst thing for me would be a Teferi, which would make it so that I couldn't cast stuff at instant speed. Don't want to see a Teferi until I've got stuff down. Alright. I want to see a land, preferably Nykthos. Well, I want to draw a land. I want him to not get Teferi. Let's see if I'm lucky. Excellent. So far, so good. I'm going to go for a Leyline. Build up my devotion count. He's got a bunch of counter spells in hand, almost certainly. So I don't want to run into those if I've got a choice not to. Nykthos, perfect. That is exactly what I needed. Because this is going to let me double spell very effectively. Curious what he goes for now. So I've got 6/8 mana. I'm gonna pass the turn. Want to be able to double spell. Nykthos, not exactly what I wanted. Alright, I'll keep plinking away. See what my opponent does. I think I'm going to respond to that with a Cavalier of Gales. That's a pretty bad hit. I've got too many Nykthoses, and I need more cards. Gadwick would be really good. See if I get lucky. Thinking hard about what to take. It's an interesting match when both players can effectively play at instant speed. I think my opponent has the upper hand right now because I'm not actually beating down for any significant amount of damage. But if they have to tap out to deal with the Cavalier, that might give me an opportunity to do something interesting. Really hoping for a verdict here. Excellent. That's exactly what I wanted. So I'm going to bottom delay line, top Master of Waves, and go ahead and cast a Harbinger of Tides. Censor. Sure, that's fine. I really want to steal the Teferi. I don't want to run into a Censor. Let's just play the Master of Waves. He gets to untap 2 lands. Excellent. So now I get to Master of Treachery, steal Teferi. I'm gonna just bin the cast out and get back my Master of Waves. And this kind of forces him to edict next, or verdict next turn, or do something, you know, powerful. So he can opt bottom and get back his cast out to cast out the Master of Waves. Then I still have a Teferi. Teferi Time Raveler. Ah. Interesting. Just going to attack him with everything. Cast out on the Master of Waves. And then I get to do really big Gadwick. Draw 8 cards. Untapping lands doesn't matter. Let's discard a Breeding Pool, a Leyline, and an island. Now my big problem here is Teferi. He bounces cast out, and I'm assuming he's got Verdict into cast out on Teferi. casts out Teferi. Oh, yeah. And then plays a Verdict. Okay, that's fine. So now, I can go ahead and play Risen Reef. Harbinger of Tides. Make mana. Harbinger of Tides. Thassa's Oracle. Fuck. I miscounted that and really thought I had one more mana. Given that, I've already played an island, I suppose I will take Gadwick for the next turn. Oh well. This is fine. Don't actually know how much counter magic he has left. Alright. So bum 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 bum. I will start by attacking Teferi, seeing what happens. Does he have a third Verdict? That would be really kind of annoying. Teferi down. Okay, I don't see a reason not to just pass the turn then. Because now I can play at instant speed again. Sure, you have a big Teferi. And draw a card, yeah. Field of Ruin, ah. Well, I can Field of Ruin Nykthos, and that's not great for me. Alright, so before he gets to untap, I'm going to go ahead and play Master of Waves. Master of Waves. Cavalier of Gales. So I want to have the Risen Reef first so that I get the most looks at a counterspell. No, I don't want to put Nykthos onto the battlefield. I guess I'll put 2 lands back. And then he gets to counter 2 Master of Waveses. Let me bounce this human token. Alright, and I have lethal, so he concedes. Alright, so Agent of Treachery seems good. These cards look less good, so I'll take those out. And I'll put in, I want the Mu Yanlings, those, the negates. cut the 3 tricksters and cut a Thassa, couple ley lines? No, ley line is so good against him. I'm gonna just cut both Thassas. It seems hard to keep it in play, hard to have stuff in play for it to trigger. I want to have a bunch of counter magic, but at the same time, I don't want to cut out all of my creatures or blue sources. 1 second. Keep this. Sorry, a friend's coming to get me for dinner, and I had to respond to his message saying, "Hey, where do you live?" I will pass the turn, and then I can cast Mu Yanling next turn. So that's getting Wizards retorted, and if he has a Mystical Dispute, then I just kind of get owned, which looks like the case. All right. Couldn't prevent it from resolving, really. So let's get Mu Yanling down. Go ahead and plus. Play the Thassa's Oracle, since I don't really want to get Gadwick countered quite yet. I mean, if I manage to emblem Mu Yanling, he just loses. I'll take the Harbor. It lets me keep hitting land drops. Cast out on Yanling. Oh no, that's his intervention. Okay. Second. This doesn't look particularly great for me right now, but I guess that depends on how much counter magic he has. If I can get Time Raveler off the board, then I should have a very easy shot at winning, but Alright. He passes the turn. Teferi ticks up. I think I just run at Teferi with Gadwick and see if I can kill it. And probably target Hero of Dominaria over Time Raveler since I actually have a chance of killing it. Verdict is fine. So I guess the thing to do is Cavalier of Gales and see if he counters it. Yeah, and then no reason not to run out Thassa's Oracle. Alright, Brazen Borrower is exactly what I need. I can bounce Teferi and start actually using counter magic, which should put me back in actually being able to play the game territory. But I think he's just drawn too many cards at this point for me to really have a chance. Is he gonna Field of Ruin? I'm like, dig through time. Yeah, him being able to resolve Teferi Time Raveler is really where this game started to slip away from me. Finally, something good. Alright, so attack Teferi and then fight a counter war over the other Teferi when it tries to come down, and then if I win the counter war, I have a good chance of winning the game, and if not, then I'll just scoop and go to game 2, or game 3. God, he's got so many cards. So I can Mystical Dispute and force him to tap mostly out, and then I can Brazen Borrower, at which point he could uptick to oh. Interesting, he doesn't fight over it. I was not expecting that outcome. get Brazen Borrower down. Not even this. Maybe there's Dispute there. Interesting that he was more keen on fighting over... Well, maybe Dispute was the only counterspell in his hand. That would potentially make sense. So hit Teferi, and then play Yanling and Master of Waves, and just hope that he's got no answers in his hand, somehow. If he's got no counterspells and I draw a Gadwick, I can get back in. Alright. Yanling, not countered. And Master of Waves is probably countered. No. I guess I get to see if we have a verdict in the future or not. Censor. Wait, I don't get it. Why didn't he censor the Brazen Borrower if he had it in hand? Because he had it last turn instead of using a Dispute. Alright. I suppose I can technically draw a Gadwick. Risen Reef is close-ish. Let's see if this actually resolves. Alright, I'm just gonna skip this and go to the next game. I don't think I can fight through Teferi with 4 cards in hand when I've got basically nothing. Same plan. This should be a fine setup. I just need to be on the play so that I can counter the turn 3 Teferi. Play first. That's an easy mulligan. Alright. Question here is what card to ditch? I feel like ditching the lands is excessively greedy, and ditching... Just ditch Wizard's Retort and hope that that doesn't punish me too hard. He also mulliganed, so let's win there. I think the key is if I can somehow manage to resolve Risen Reef on turn 3 with him not messing with it and then get down Master of Waves, I should have a really easy shot at victory. Otherwise, well, if he's got counterspells at the right time, things get harder. So the question is, do I want to run into Censor or try to end of turn on turn 3 cast the Reef? Or just wait and play around Censor entirely? That seems a little bit too greedy. If I drew a Dispute, then things would simplify. Gadwick. Screw it. I'm just gonna cast it end of turn on his turn, unless he casts some kind of instant here. I guess it would have to be cycling something, because I'm not going to try to cast it into a Mystic Dispute yet. I can wait one more turn. We're both playing at instant speed, so more or less the same to wait. Oh, okay. If he's missing land drops, that makes everything easier. Perfect. Oh shit. was a chance that he had dispute anyways. Wait. It's not meaning to take off my stop it on his end step. Yeah, you do that. I think Gatwick X3 looks a lot better than his thing right there. I like the look of this. I can probably double leyline next turn and then untap with absurd amounts of mana. Okay, so let's play Nykthos. Zenreef. Big shame that I don't have one more devotion, but if he doesn't have double dispute or some kind of essence scatter and this Master of Waves resolves, I basically win the game on the spot. Alright, does he have a second dispute? Yes. This position is still solid though. He's kind of priced into verdicting. Put back ley lines, I suppose, because I'd rather not have those if I need to shuffle. Just playing Risen Reef kind of makes that point irrelevant, but if I can make him tap out again and not have counter magic up, because he's got to be running out of mystical disputes. So dig. And then, if he verdicts, he's going to be very likely out of counter magic, and I can Agent of Treachery the Teferi. And then, honestly, I'd probably just sacrifice. No, he's going to plus Teferi. Wouldn't be able to sacrifice it to redraw Agent of Treachery. Bouncing Agent of Treachery with Teferi after I steal it. That sounds absurd. All right. On the plus side, honestly, at this point, I think my opponent might time out. Like, he's got 5 minutes left, and Control is not exactly known for winning quickly. Might just be able to time him out. Although I think I have the upper hand in the game, so that's probably not necessary. Alright, Verdict. No Detention Sphere on Cavalier. Okay. So I have. Let's just start with Master of Waves and see what happens. Okay. Well, I'll be happy to take 4 Risen Reef triggers. Oh, hey, the elemental is bigger. Do I play around... So I think I attack. And then... I think I'm actually going to Petty Theft the Detention Sphere. This will get back the Cavalier of Gales. Against veto. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. He's still in terrible shape. Because he's got to deal with the amount of creatures on the board. And that's probably going to be either a Verdict or some kind of spot removal on Master of Waves. Alright, so I'm not going to attack the Master of Waves into the Azorius Charm. Verdict. Okay. Now what? Does he have another counterspell? Gadwick for 3, and then if he counters this, I have Master of Waves. Let's discard a Leyline, since those seem fairly redundant at this point. I really should have cast the Leyline there. No reason not to up the devotion count. Interesting. Well, if I can draw another threat, I suppose. Risen Reef's good. Might draw at the counterspells, not really. Alright. Island. I think I'm going to just do another X3 Gadwick. He's got to be running low on counter magic at this point. Also, he's definitely timing out. There's no way he kills me in 2 minutes and 50 seconds. So let's bait with Cavalier of Gales. Should be a pretty effective bait, to be honest. See if his very last card is counter magic. No, it is not. I think the play here is Steel Teferi, and And then do I kill the Teferi to get my Cavalier of Gales back? I think yes. Should I stack those in the other order? Put that back. Put that back. Not going to attack the Risen Reef into the Ardenvale human. Oh. I really should have just bounced my Agent of Treachery, shouldn't I? Oh well. I think I'm still ahead enough that he's going to have a hard time winning. Because if he doesn't play to Teferi, like, immediately, he will never resolve another spell. As soon as I get to untap with all these negates. Okay. So I should be able to win this pretty easily now. I mean, at this point, I've got almost all the lands in my deck. I don't even need the Nykthos. It's Thassa's Oracle for something good. Master of Waves sounds good. All right, he makes a human, and Scries. That's desperation right there. Not going to counter Opt. Or that Opt. Alright, so Master of Waves draws me, like, all of the cards. All of the cards. I think I'll play the Planeswalker just for the hell of it. Plus... Probably should have attacked a fairy, but it doesn't really matter. I'll go ahead and Mystic Dispute that. So now I've got 3 negates available. Discard a Gadwick and a Thassa's Oracle, I suppose. It's pretty much locked into either finding Verdict or dying horribly, right? Alright, so that is a Verdict. I think I just... Steal his Teferi. Plus land plus that. The sad part is I'm going to win when he's about to time out, which means that pretty sure I could just F6 my way to victory at this point. But hey, at least the deck seems to have a pretty good game against control if you can get Time Raveler off the board. Yeah, let's negate that. I think I just win next turn with Gadwick into Thassa's Oracle if he hadn't actually timed out, but oh well, I guess a win's a win.